Free speech. Haters are gonna hate, and it does throw in some confusion. An example of this today, we'll talk about some local council upgrades and the pros and cons of the haters and the lovers.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to Morning Minutes. Myself, Michael Berger, Mark Novak, episode 523. Haters gonna hate with when council or the government implement any new changes. In particular, we're going to be talking about more upgrades. For example, creating a bike path. For example, getting rid of the seating area, maybe creating another bike path, or taking, car spaces and creating another bike path. But any changes that sort of really affect the neighbourhood area. And what sparked this topic is DY Beachfront, the Strand. Council are doing a 6-month trial. Mark, talk us through it. I can tell you it involves a bike path. And let's see, let's go through it.
Look, nobody likes Lycra, let's face it, for men.
Yeah, and that's coming from
and
us.
Just to see it,
bike ride 500 kilometres in Thailand. So,
even if I've been in Lycra, no one likes it. But all seriousness, seeing the hysteria that it creates is out of control. The opinions are so divided. I think that's obviously why we're a great country, that everyone is entitled to their opinion. Nothing's dismissed, everything's listened to, and people build. But an example of in our local area in DY and on the beach there, it's a beautiful beachfront with a street running through it. And an example, like say, you got all the commercial there on the left, and what's happened is it was two-way and it had parking on both sides. Parking was removed on one side. Now they've got an extra aggressive. It's gone one way, and they've put a two-way bike path instead of car spaces available to the public. Very interesting, very controversial. I was talking to the business owners yesterday, and everyone's like, yeah, look, we want to see an improvement, but we just don't know if this is the right improvement.
Yeah, because you're balancing a lot of things. And I think what we came to an agreement before we even went on air, Mark, is at least they're doing something. Councils, there are a lot of areas that don't do anything. There's no changes for the better. And eventually everything over time just gets old, outdated. And there's just nothing, it just doesn't improve. So I think hats off that they're thinking about stuff. And then we can judge each thing going, well, is that a good change or a bad change? But who is it a good change for? Because you're always going to piss people off. There's always going to be changes that really affect people. For example, getting rid of parking is going to really hurt a lot of the businesses, because think how many people just quickly park, run in, get a coffee, run in, get an ice cream. You're eliminating that parking out the front of their businesses, which are their customers. And we all know when it comes to retail or any type of a lot of businesses, convenience is key. And if it's not convenient to stop or get in there, you lose the business. So why do you think Macca's drive-through goes so well? Because it's convenient. You don't have to get out of the car. And if I start saying to you, think how many people would not go to Macca's if you had to park 100 metres away from the property to walk in? And that's what's going to happen to a lot of the businesses with eliminating that parking, putting the bike lane in there. They've got to park in the car park. So you've got to balance it there, and I think have a genuine conversation. And if you're really happy with these changes, because you may like riding a bike and it's good. But I think everyone's just got to take a step back and think if these changes are good for you, they're probably bad for someone. So just be, humbling, or just chill out a bit and appreciate that there could be a compromise that you can win and they can win as well.
But everyone out there, you got to remember with these changes, it's very obvious, and I'm not pro-change against, like I'm probably more pro-change than against change, but you've got to remember that when there's change, the disadvantages are immediate and the advantages are in time. And it's to have that foresight is really, really hard. An example of that is we had dropped in the middle of DY, we had 350 units dropped into the middle of DY. Two towers of 17 stories and 15 stories in a 5-story, 3-story area. Now, my point of that is there was so many people that were hating on the decision, hating on the developer, hating on the government. And then what happened is now that it's built, all those people just disappeared.
Yeah,
exactly. They absolutely disappeared.
Yeah, and like as you said that perfectly. What was that again? The negatives are instant and the benefits are delayed. That was the gist.
Yeah, they're immediate. So whenever there's change, the negatives are immediate. It's very bloody obvious. But then the benefits actually take sometimes weeks, months, or years. So when you lay that over our DY beachfront, the immediate thing is, Jesus, we wanted more parking, not less. Jesus, Who's going to use a bloody bike lane? And one way, when we know, Jesus, that's going to be harder for us to drive around. You know, the losses are just so apparent. A bit like what's happening with COVID when government makes a decision for lockdown.
It's so true. And like if you look at like Meriton, the immediate disadvantage where all those businesses left, all that parking left, but then it all came back bigger and better. Now, as much as that parking convenience could be bad for these businesses, they've also got to be open-minded and think as well, if we have more people coming down to the beachfront for a longer period of time, because they may put a bike track, then they put picnic areas, and instead of getting that one client who drove past, parked out the front, run in and got a coffee, they're coming down with the kids, with the family, going on the bike track, sitting down, having a picnic, then going to the beach, and they're making it the beachfront more of a destination for half a day rather than driving through. Because there are a lot of business, there's those two components of retail. Are you that high exposure drive-through area, or are you a destination where people park the car, they're walking around? Like, think of it this way, Pittwater Road DY would be a bit more of a high exposure and Westfield would be a destination. People park there and they wander around for hours and hours. So the more convenient you can make that to have people stay the longer, it's better. And DY Beachfront could be that as well, where they think at the moment over the weekend we get 10,000 people from DY going to the beach, or even from Cromer coming to DY Beach. If we can make these changes, we can increase that to 20,000 visitors to the beachfront, and then that will improve the businesses. And that's exactly what you said. The negative is immediate. No parking. That means you lose that customer who runs in for 2 seconds to get the coffee. But the long-term benefit would be double the population coming to DY, staying there for 6 hours, spending more money with all businesses. So I like
Safety?
Sorry?
Safety, when you got cars only coming from one direction, at least you know that's also safe. You're not navigating across 2 lanes.
Yeah, sure.
When you're walking.
Yeah.
You don't worry about safety.
No.
You wait until you have a little child.
Yeah, I do recall down at Terrigal when I lived there. There was Terrigal on the beachfront. It was one way, and what was it? My mate he's used to, for all our life it was one way. Then they made it 2-way, and one night he was drinking going across it. He's used to only coming from one way, so he looks from the right. There was no cars. He walked, and then he got hit from the other side. It wasn't a major hit, but it was a little love tap. But it was quite interesting because used to coming from one way. But safety. But of course. But I don't think there are people getting hit there every day for it to change. I could be wrong, but
no, I think they pulled down. But you know what, guys? I think the people that are making that, and anyone who's watching, I think just have a good think about when you see changes being adopted, that the people that may have helped with that decision making may be more educated in their particular field to make those decisions.
Yes.
And then, just have a good, before you pipe up and go bananas, really calculate it, because you can poison some great people. Can poison some great ideas in, and you wouldn't think immediately they're great ideas. I'll give you a working example of this. I was in a council meeting and they were talking about park and ride stations. So that's the idea of promoting parking in areas so people will get onto a bus, and if they get onto a bus, there's less traffic to go to the city. So they're saying, let's put parking stations around the bus stops. And I'm going, mate, great idea. Now, the weird thing for me was, why would you put the parking stations 600 metres, 700 metres away from the bus stop? Like, it sounds like the most stupidest place to put a parking station. And the answer from the planners was, we want to stimulate retail in that region. I'm like, yeah, I still don't get it. So they're like, we want people to get off a bus. So if there's 10,000 people getting off a bus that day, we want them to get off a bus, buy a loaf of bread, buy some Chinese takeaway, shop, go to the convenience store. But if we put the park and ride station immediately at the foot of the bus stop, people aren't going to stimulate the retail area. And I was like, dude, I would never have thought of that. That is genius. Being commercial agents that we are, that is genius. Hats off. Now, most people don't know that. Most people just pipe up and go, idiots.
Yeah, why did you do it so far away? Stuff like that. So I think, before everyone becomes a hero in the comment section, when you see it on Facebook going, DY beachfront, losing the parking or stuff like that, have a look at the whole document. I've put the link in there to the website and also the PDF document that they where you can have your say. So I really think it's, all I can say is, as much as just assume council with being useless, sometimes they're not, and they to what they do have, they always have a lot of really good information. Like, it's never a secret of what they're planning. Yeah. Like, if you have a look at this report, there's so many reports and data. I love it. Like, when I was selling the Orchard property and we're going through the Brookvale master plan, the amount of information they had, I love it. So they're really good.
In conclusion from today, before we go, can I say one thing? G'day, Sean. Can I say one thing? If you're going to be a dickhead on a keyboard, or if you're going to be a dickhead on Facebook against change, turn up in person. The least you can do is go to council and actually find out what you're talking about before you write something stupid down. Because I think when you learn about the method in some of this madness, these council guys, these politicians, not bad. Look, some of them are bloody idiots, but learn about it. Don't be a keyboard warrior.
It's so true. It's so true as well. And a lot of people may look at it going, oh, this sucks for me because I can't park there now. But if that brings double the amount of people there on a weekend, it's better for everyone. So, yeah. But I think, look at the documents before you become a hero on it. It's fascinating. But I think the biggest thing is, I love that council's doing something. It's changing. It's evolving. It's like a business. When you see a business and they haven't refreshed their fit out in 15 years, you're like, do you not care? Compared to a business that every few years is redoing the cutlery they use, the chairs you're sitting on, you love it. It makes you care about that, makes you care about the business, but it also tells you they care about their own business. So I think it's a really good thing.
The CEO of Toyota, famous quote that I love: gradual improvement is better than delayed perfection. And these council changes, some of these can actually be, a lot of these can be undone. So don't get scared about some of these changes that get done.
Of course. And that's a wrap. We'll be back tomorrow morning. Thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Sean, Helen.
Thanks, Mr. Bergio.
Cheers.
See you guys.